What's going on, everyone? Cameron Blazy here. Welcome you to the MLP Week 1 Power Rankings. This is late. I know. I get it. Life came in the way. Long story short, I had to go over to my dad's to get some stuff. I had my parking pass, and I had to go over to family's yesterday. But today is Sunday, and I'm going to record this and upload this before it gets late. So, we are here. Week 1 has gone by, and there was a forfeit in a troll match, but besides that, the rest of the matches were really good. Almost as good as this watermelon I just got done eating. But besides that, we have a lot to talk about. And isn't a lot, I mean not a lot. Just kidding. This video is going to be shorter than the last one because there's one less match. There's technically two less matches to talk about, but I'm not going to go through the entire team like I did the first video, and I'm not going to go through the entire battle and talk about every single thing, because this isn't a recap. This is power rankings, so we're going to be talking about why they're ranked where, like the important parts in the match. So let's get into this. We're going to be talking about the forfeited match first. So Washington Weevils had to forfeit against the Monterey Kirums, so they're going to be ranked 16th and 15th. That's about all I got to say. I don't know why the why the Washington Weevils had to forfeit, but besides that, I have to rank them down here because I had no battle to judge off. I'm not saying they're the worst teams. Just I couldn't judge them off anything because it was a forfeit. Number 14, we have the Utah Star Raptors, and Utah Star Raptors lost 4-0 against the Kansas City Carnivines. And in this battle, early game, Utah Star Raptors did really good with a Specs Electivire. I'm pretty sure they're Specs with Focus Blast, put on a lot of pressure, but majority of the game, the Kansas City Carnivines were in control. They had the benefit of the doubt when like Altaria came in. It just hit something really hard because Utah Star Raptors had no swap-ins. It was just insane. You would have thought Victini would have put in a lot more work against the Carnivines, but like got destroyed by a Shadow Ball from what I believe is a Laddie. Pretty sure it was a Latios or a Latios, one of those two. The Laddies just confuse me sometimes. But it just shows that like if you get I love the Specs Electivire set, but besides that, the Star Raptors prep wasn't the greatest, I don't think. But so we're gonna move on to number 13, which is the Georgia Granvilles, and they have lost 2-0 against the New York Metagross. The New York Metagross had a good matchup against the Granvilles, and the problem with I know that sounds crazy. Yeah, Metagross has a great matchup against a Granville. Oh my gosh. They had no swap in for Mega Lopunny, the Granvilles, early game, because when I think at one point it was hitting everything for 60% until Toxicroak came in and it forced the Lopunny to swap. I don't know why he swapped. I guess return doesn't kill. But they gave the Toxicroak a free Swords Dance, which gave him hope. It made it look like the Granvilles had a chance to come back. But Webs got up. Toxicroak at one point had to swap out. And now Lopunny comes in and everything gets at -1 speed. So nothing can outspeed it. I think the only thing that can outspeed... No, I don't think there's anything in the game that's legal in League format that can outspeed a Mega Lopunny at -1 speed. Quote me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's anything is at -1 speed. So that was it for the Granvilles. They couldn't really do much for the Mega Lopunny late game. It cleaned up. That just shows how crazy Mega Lopunny is. Moving on to number 12, we have the Indy Ithurs, who lost 4-0 against the Brooklyn Rotoms. This loss was it was an unfortunate loss because he missed a Heat Wave on a Calm Mind Klefki. He missed two, actually. But I do not think they changed the outcome of the match. I feel like the Indy Ithurs still were going to lose this match. Maybe it was going to be a 3-0, maybe possibly. It was definitely going to be a 3-0, possibly 2-0. If it was not for the miss. But it missed twice, not in a row. He missed once, he swapped out, hit another one, and then missed again. So, I mean... it's kind of hard to mess with Heat Wave because the way it does not work half the time. It's not 100% accurate, which really is unfortunate. And as you can see, it cost him a kill. That's about it, though. I'm not going to say it cost them the match. I'm pretty sure Indy Ithurs have Mega Absol. And yes, they have the Mega Absol. They had a really, they were about to get swept early game with a Ditto that came in, took a knockoff, so it lost its Choice Scarf. So you have and then it's Swords Dance, so it's only at +1 because it was intimidated before Ditto swapped in the Mega Absol. But that Mega Absol was actually, the Ditto one was about to sweep. It was at +1 and it outsped everything. It sped tie the other Mega Absol, so it came down to whether Superpower would have killed it. But luckily, the Brooklyn Rotoms had a Scarfed Frostlass with Destiny Bond. I guess it's for that situation, I'm not sure. But it basically clutched in the match because if the Rotoms did not have that Frostlass, they were about to get swept, I believe. Or no, the Scythers were about to get swept if it wasn't for her Frostlass, and it would have been a nasty 6-0 with Ditto getting 6 kills. But that didn't happen, so it's whatever. So we're going to move on to number 11, which is the Cleveland Granvilles with a pretty sick logo, but besides that, the battle was pretty rough for them. It was a 4-0 loss against the San Jose Sharpedos, one of the better teams in the league. And the San Jose Sharpedos kind of were in control this entire match. And the only time I didn't see the Sharpedos doing great is when the Sharpedos had in their Mega Pinsir and Skarmory had a Rocky Helmet and it walled it completely. But Specs, Galvantula just ran through Cleveland Granvilles, which is really, really unfortunate. I mean, I wanted to see this battle, but every time Galvantula came in when you knew it was Specs, you looked at his team, there was nothing that could safely swap into it. So the Granvilles basically had to sack something off and then hope that it would be enough to kill the Galvantula. And Galvantula is frail, but Galvantula is also fast. So Granvilles really couldn't do much. Galvantula picked up 5 kills against him, and that's how this match went out. Granvilles, like I said, Skarmory put on some pressure against the Pinsir, not allowing it to get the kill against it. But besides that, there was nothing the Granvilles could do. Moving on to number 10, we have the Chicago Caritas, who lost 3-0 against the Goldenrod Zipstrikers. And as you can see, I cannot spell Chicaritas. I put an extra C in there for literally no reason. But that's all. That's whatever. We all know I can't spell. Goldenrod had brought an Entei, and the Chicaritas had no swap-ins to this Entei, basically. Especially early in late game, when it was mainly out. Landorus and Blastoise also just ran through Chicaritas, especially mid-game. Chicaritas did bring a Colbur Berry Mew, which helped out against the Dark Pulse Blastoise, but it didn't do anything back. And even though Blastoise, it basically burnt his berry for nothing because the Mew did nothing back, and Blastoise swapped out with basically full health, I believe. I don't remember 100% sure if the Chicaritas had a Flame Orb Jolteon with Quick Feet. I'm pretty sure I saw that, but I'm not 100% positive. It was putting in a lot of work against the Zipstrikers. I thought for a minute there that was gonna come back for the Zipstrikers, but when there's really not much you can do when Entei's just sitting in the back and your team's getting whittled down. And Jolteon's not the bulkiest thing, so Entei came in and clicked Bulldoze on that thing and blew it back. And it's unfortunate, a loss, but it's only week 1, so not much you can do. We're going to move on to number 9, which is the Midwest Masquerades. And this is the troll match I was talking about. These two apparently, I guess, really good friends, and they always do a troll match. I'm not 100% sure, but they ended up losing 4-0 against the Richmond Umbreons. And the highlight of this match, I feel like, was when I saw a Milotic use Copycat and trap a Fortress, which was meant to trap the Milotic when it used Sand Tomb, and it could recover stall it out even though Toxic was getting high up, and then Fortress missed a Sand Tomb. Yeah, that's how that match went. So we're going to move on to number 8, the Charlotte Beedrills, who lost 2-0 against the better team in the league, I believe, which is the Lake City Lucarios. Now, excuse me, I had to cough. I'm muted, I hope. Now, in the Lake City Lucarios, I feel like were up real good, and the Charlotte Beedrills were at a spot where they were about to get Filoed, I believe, but Alakazam for the Charlotte Beedrills pulled this one way closer, and like the Alakazam had like Disable and Encore, and then Psychic. So I don't know if it was like, I don't remember if the last one was, I don't remember what its last move was. I don't know if it showed it. But this Alakazam almost brought the game back between those three moves, because you couldn't like safely recover up. The Lucarios teams was pretty worn down, so it had to like recover up. The only thing that I believe that stopped the sweep down happening was the Aromatisse with the Aroma Veil or something like that that prevents it from getting disabled and encored. So if it wasn't for that, I feel like the Charlotte Beaters would have won. Not 100% sure though. They did end up losing though between the Aromatisse. It's unfortunate, but the problem was with this team was the Charlotte Beaters had very little swap-ins for a Mega Venusaur. It couldn't do a lot of damage to it, and it couldn't really break it down enough for them to win, which is like you got to prep for Mega Venusaur. Mega Venusaur is one of the top megas in the game defensively, and it can be offensively, as you can saw this week. It did a lot of damage, and it took a lot of damage too. So we're going to move on to number 7, which is the Brooklyn Rotoms, who won 4-0 against the Indy Ithurs. And this was the Calm Mind Klefki, I believe. Calm Mind Klefki, as you can see, is no joke. It gave him the huge win. It was a really fun battle to watch, I believe. Like, there was when Brooklyn just started setting up Calm Minds, I saw Indy Ithurs, but I said, as long as Tornadus has Heat Wave, they should be fine. And he goes and missed 2s of them, like, skillfully dodged. The Klefki must have, like, skillfully dodged it. It had, Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Flash Cannon. I believe he said he had Magnet Rise for his 4th move. He only showed 3 moves. So, that Klefki was out for blood, and it did. It won him 4-0. It won him the game. The Ditto sweep early game could have been amazing, but, you know, Frostlass said no thank you. But besides all that, the match was fun. The misses were unfortunate, but there's nothing really you can do about RNG. Brooklyn Rotom just showed that a normally annoying defensive pivot Mon that's annoying and sets up spikes and is also very annoying. As you can tell, I do not like Klefki at all. It also can be an offensive sweeper, a setup sweeper, and that's what I did this week. So we're going to move on to number 6, the Goldenrod Zipstrikers, who won 3-0 against the Chicago Caritas. The rest of these teams won up until this point, mainly because they're just great, I guess. I don't know. The Zipstrikers won 3-0. Inte did really good late game, like I said, winning that one. When the Chikoritas have no swap-ins for an Inte, a Mega Blastoise, and a Landorus, you're at a good spot. It doesn't. I guess the Jolteon and Infernape threw him off because there wasn't really much he could do for it late game besides go in and just win with Inte. But I feel like if Inte went down, this match would have been different. I don't know. Maybe he just recognized that as his win con because that's what Inte did. It won him the game. Definitely the Quick Feed Jolteon, if that's what it was. Again, I'm not 100% sure. It might not have been. Thinking back now, I'm pretty sure I saw Jolteon get a Volt Absorb boost. It was at a point, I remember, because I missed a few turns in the battle, and I tried to go back and watch them, but I had to write down some things from both sides, and I'm pretty sure it was Volt Absorb, and it just got burned. But it felt like it was going. It felt like it was outspeeding a lot, mainly because Goldenrod Zipstrikers team is very slow. I feel like you break down like its like main core, and you have like 3 really fast mons, and the rest of it's slow. So that could be one of the reasons I wasn't like actually seeing what was happening. I'm pretty sure it's Volt Absorb now. Looking back at it, like thinking back, because you'd see my screen if I changed it. Because here's my mouse right here. So, yeah, I'm 95% sure it was Volt Absorb. This shows you that I'm just like, I've had to record this like 6 times now, because I've been interrupted a few times. I got one of the battles mixed up, but that's okay. We're here. At least I'm posting this. I could be that guy that doesn't post it after says he will. but I'm not that guy. I will follow through. Anyway, enough of me rambling. They won 3-0, and they did great. Entei is one of those mons that if you don't properly prepare for, it's gonna win you the match. And the Chicaritas didn't prepare, and the Goldenrods and then the Zebstrikers won. So I mean, hey, and as you can see, I cannot spell Chicaritas. There's a second C there in Chicaritas because I can't spell worth the crap. Last week it was Brooklyn. This week it's Chicaritas. I wonder what next week it is. Oh well. Moving on to number 5. Richmond Umbreons. This was the troll match. Not much to say about it. It was kind of funny to watch. Like I saved this one for last week because I'm pretty sure I knew this one was the troll match. And like Sandtomb Fortress. It's wild. Moving on to number 4, Kansas City Carnivines. This team won 4-0 against the Utah Star Raptors. Utah Star Raptors, I'm not gonna say they're the worst team in the league. I'm just saying that they did not have the greatest matchup. I was trying to find the right words for this. They didn't have the greatest matchup against the Carnivines, so they had to bring funky sets like a Specs Electivire, which I like to run banded. So I was kind of like, what? It's Specs. What is this badness? Enough of that. I guess this Carnivine saw like, oh, I can run Altaria, and he has no swap-ins for it because like Altaria is one of those things that like a Hyper Voice is going to do a lot of damage no matter what it is. And that's what he did. He just clicked Hyper Voice a few times, and it put huge holes in the Utah's teams members. Can you imagine like someone screaming at you, hyper voicing you? I'm pretty sure that would be like really painful. Like if someone came up to me and screamed as loud as they can, and it was like hyper speed, and it busted my eardrums, that would hurt. That would hurt a lot. So yeah, Specs Electivire kind of almost blew him back at the beginning, but it didn't do much against the Mega Altaria, which came in and just basically won for him. Mega Altaria did so good this match. So we're going to move on to number 3, which is the New York Metagross, who won 2-0 against the Georgia Granvilles. Now, the Georgia Granvilles, like I said earlier, had 0 swap-ins for Mega Lopunny. When Toxicroak came in, I'm not sure why he swapped. The only reason I could think is that Return did not kill at that range, and it got up a free Swords Dance, so the Toxicroak did. And at that point, I realized, like, oh crap, what can the Metagross do? So at one point, I'm pretty sure the Toxicroak was swapped out. Webs were set up for the Metagross, and when webs are set up and you have a Mega Lopunny, nothing can outspeed it, I believe, like I said earlier. And that thing has like a base 126 attack stat, and nothing's going to live a return or a high jump kick. And that's all it did was clicked return and high jump kick a few times and won him the match. He might have had Drain Punch, I don't know. I just feel like high jump kick's better. Moving on to number 2. Still one of the best, like my favorite team in the league is the San Jose Sharpedos. And for good reason. They brought us Specs Galvantula. Galvantula is one of my favorite Pokemon ever. And it just, like, when you run cool stuff like that and it pays off, you're going to get like noticed. This team was almost number 1. The only problem I had with this battle, and there was only one of them, was that when the San Jose Sharpedos, let's see if I can find it in my notes, San Jose Sharpedos, they stayed in. No, wait, when they were quick attacking, and they took the Rocky Helmet damage from the Skarmory, I thought swapping out wasn't the best idea. You could have, like, I'm pretty sure you can live any hit from that thing, because that was very defensive, and you could have either, like, scouted out what that thing wanted to do, or Swords Danced, and then I believe a close combat might have killed after recoil damage. I'm not 100% sure. Like, I felt like staying in and scouting out, because Mega Pinsir surprisingly has good defense. I think it's, like, pretty good defense. I don't know 100% sure what his thought process was. I mean, if you can live a hit and there aren't rocks up, because I'm pretty sure there weren't rocks up, then I would have stayed in and scouted. But you never know. We're going to move on to, you already know who number 1 is. That is the Lake City Lucarios. And as you can see, he's Mega Evolved because he just ascended this battle. even though Alakazam kind of just almost destroyed him. Besides the Alakazam shenanigans, the Lake City Lucarios were in control this entire match. There was really nothing, like, it was like Charlotte Beedrills were just digging a hole. They couldn't get out of it until Alakazam just, like, teleported them out, but then Aromatisse, like, told Alakazam to stop that and walled him. Mega Venusaur just did put in so much work for them. It was insane. It was just, like, you can tell their prep was on point. Like, you can't really prep for a Alakazam that's going to Encore and disable you. That's, like, kind of wild, in my opinion. Like, how are you supposed to prep for that? But he worked around it eventually. Once Aromatisse came in, and after Aromatisse came in, he just won. It was over. So yeah, there's your power rankings. It's lit, boys. We're done. This is the farthest I've gotten recording this. Like I said, I had to restart a few times, but that's okay. It's all good fun. I enjoy doing these. I like watching the battles, watching like what I would do, and I'm not the greatest battler, but I don't know. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, I had a blast doing this. Be sure to hit that follow and like button down below. Hit the subscribe button, I meant. This isn't Twitch. Because if you can subscribe, you'll get more videos. Like, there's going to be a video up tonight of the CBLA, and you're going to see me go against David, the one and only Flamin' Heracross.